service. In case you're not familiar with it, it's basically we provide research-based information to the public, so we offer education in ways that's most useful to the public. So we not only offer nutrition, health, food safety, family life, like parenting and marriage education, exercise classes. We have all kinds of different things, and that's just within my area, family and consumer science. We also have an agriculture agent, Mike McClintock, so he does agriculture and horticulture, and I don't know if y'all told them last time that they can get their soil tested with us.
Oh,
so,
no.
If you're not sure why your plants aren't growing, and it's really best to do it before you plant, bring in your soil to the extension office and we'll send it off and tell you what it needs. So that's one of the services that we offer. And we also have a lot of different things on horticulture, so we have master gardeners and all of that. We will be getting next month a new 4-H agent here in Boone County. So if you have kiddos between the ages of 5 and 19, even now they can join 4-H. It doesn't cost anything to join. So we have lots of different services and they're all available to you, so come and find us if you're interested in any of those or have a question about what all we do offer. All right, today we're going to cover portion sizes. If you are have kiddos in the Head Start program, went to a parent meeting, you may have seen part of this before, but this is the expanded version. For those meetings, I have to crunch it down really small. So today I'm going to, first of all, start out with some questions for you to kind of get an idea, because I really want to relate all of this about portion sizes back to what we pay for our food and how portion sizes make a difference in that. So to start us out, how many days a week do y'all cook?
7.
Every day. Oh my land.
Well, I have 4 people to feed.
I do too, but 5. 5? Okay. 5-ish.
I live on myself. I'm 2-3 times a
2
week.
3 times a week, maybe?
And then I'll, eat, I'll be enough to eat on 2 or 3 days or so.
Eat on 2 or 3 days, so you do leftovers. Okay. Anybody else have any input? Something around those or something
I
different?
cook the least amount I can.
Okay, so you cook every day though, and you just cook a small portion?
I don't cook every day.
Okay.
And when I do cook, I have to cook for a family. So it's a pretty big meal.
A pretty big meal. Okay. All right. So that kind of gives me an idea of what y'all do. How many of y'all eat out 2 days a week?
We could
3?
afford it.
No one eats out more than 3 days a week?
This week I made out a lot.
Well, there are weeks like that.
I usually eat out 3 or 4 times a month.
3 to 4 times a month. Okay, that's not bad at all. That's
Yeah,
very
twice
nice.
a week.
Okay, I would say twice a week. So, that's about normal probably. And how many of y'all don't have any problem with eating leftovers and have them quite a bit? Okay, awesome. All right, that kind of gives me an idea of what we're working with here. So, I looked up some facts and statistics, and did you know, and this is from this year's article, did you know Americans spend more on food than any other budget item? Yeah, I bet you're not too surprised, are you? So, average, that's more than $7,700 a year on groceries and going out together. Now, that's average, so of course it's not going to fit any of us exactly. So, the thing is that, we make our big grocery trips, we get what we need, and then we forget stuff. We all do that, and go back and grab something, or we eat out. And so what we're looking at is not just one big lump sum, although you may have a fairly large one, but then throughout the month, you're doing $20, $30 at a time here and there, in addition to that. So, unless you're keeping really close track of your budget, you may not know truly how much you're spending on groceries. You know that big, $400 or $600 when you go on your big trip, but then how much are you spending on your other side trips? If anybody does know that, I'd love to know, how much you're spending. So, what the breakdown is, in raw layouts, they figure on average about $7,729 per year on that. And then as a proportion, it's about 12.8% of folks' budgets. So for about one person, all right, we're per month if you eat out often, or $273 per month if you cook at home more often. That's a pretty big difference, right? So it does definitely pay off to be able to cook at home more often if you can do that. Okay, so before we get into the portion sizes, I want us to look back at the MyPlate. I know that we covered this last year if y'all were here. Each of you have a MyPlate to look at, and just really quickly want to go over, this is, instead of the food guide pyramid, they've been doing this MyPlate for a while because it's very visual. You can look at it and know exactly what it means. You don't have to have a big explanation of it. You can know that this is basically what we should eat for lunch and for dinner. And for breakfast, we should eat at least 3 food groups. It's just basically the 5 food groups. But if you combine it all during the day, what we'd be looking at is about 2 servings of fruit a day. That's an average, maybe more like 1.5 to 2. Vegetables, about 3 servings. Protein, about 3 servings. Grains, you're looking at about 6 to 8 servings. And then dairy is about 3 servings. Okay, and it depends entirely on your size and your gender and your lifestyle and all of that. And if you want a more accurate breakdown, you can go to the MyPlate website, which is choosemyplate.gov, and look that up there. But that's just kind of an average. So I wanted to point that out first because I think everything that we do today kind of relates back to the MyPlate, and think about how many servings that we should have of each of these food groups. So the first one we're going to talk about is our grains group, because guess what? A lot of us have too many grains. So remember I said 6 to 8? When I usually ask people about how many grains do you think we should have a day, most of them say, I don't know, 2 or 3. And they're really surprised when I say 6 to 8 servings of grains. Well, that's because a serving of grain is not what you might think it is. So I'm going to do a little experiment here. Can I have a volunteer? Would anyone volunteer for me? Anybody?
Yeah, I'll volunteer for you.
Awesome. Would you just come on up here and right in the front here? And what I'm going to have you do is pick out which of these cereal bowls you would normally use. There's 3 here.
Probably this one.
Okay, let me show everybody. So she chose this normal sized cereal bowl, right? And I'm going to have you take the cereal and fill it up as much as you normally would in the morning.
You gotta pour it if you can.
Okay, so
Sounds about right.
that's about 1.5 cups. And before you go back to your seat, would you fill this up only once or twice or maybe 3 times?
No, once.
Just once?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's pretty good. All right, so about that, does that look like about what y'all have for yours? And maybe you might go back for seconds, right? And that might not be quite as much the second time, okay? So just think about what yours might be. And just to make things easy, I'm gonna say that she went ahead and filled it up to this next line up here, which is the little gray line, to make it 2 cups, all right? So it just so happens that that bowl holds about 2 cups. So if that's the bowl you use, you'll know it's about a 2-cupper right there. Okay, so if you're eating Tutti Fruttis, 1 serving size is 1 cup. Now, it's always different depending on the type of cereal that you have, and it's very important to look at serving size for 2 reasons. First of all, it tells you if you're getting enough bang for your buck. Are you getting enough nutrients with it? And are you going to be able to eat enough of it that it's, going to make a difference for the money that you paid for it? All right, so 1 cup is a pretty good serving size. Sometimes when it's only a half a cup, you're like, really? Is that all I get to eat of this? Okay, so important to remember. The other reason it's important is 1 cup is going to tell us how much all of this is. So 1 serving is 1 cup, then we know that we're going to have to double everything on here because we're just now eating 2 cups of that, okay? So help me out with some numbers. If we're looking at calories, 1 cup is 110 calories. So if we have 2 cups, we just doubled that, which is
220.
Yeah. So is that quite a few calories for our breakfast? Yeah, it sure is. And calories aren't necessarily a bad thing. They're really just energy. The problem is when we take in more energy than what we can burn. And also, what nutrients are we getting for that energy we're taking in, right? Okay, secondly, the fat in this is not bad at all. We want to look at sodium, though, because that's really important, especially if you have heart issues. So 120 125 milligrams in 1 cup. So if you double that, that is,
250.
okay, so that's getting pretty high right there. Let's skip down here to our carbohydrates, 24 grams. So if we double that, we have,
48.
all right, that's,
That's high for diabetic.
yes, all right. So whether you're diabetic or not, your sugars are gonna shoot up real quick when you eat that, okay? And even if you're not diabetic, after a while, you wear down your pancreas, okay? All right, and of those 24 grams, 12 of them are sugar, just flat out sugar, not starches that turn into sugar, they're just sugar to start with. So obviously that's going to be 24 grams of sugar right there, which is quite a lot. All right, and those are the main things that I wanted us to look at. It does, of course, in cereal have quite a few nutrients added back to it because it doesn't have any to start with. I watched that show one time, How They Make Things. Have you all seen those? And they were doing the one on cereal, and it was fascinating. As they moved the cereal down the belt, they literally sprayed it with these nutrients right back on that cereal. So it was kind of interesting. Now, the next thing I want to do is, if anybody happens to ever use this bowl, this happens to hold, if you filled it full, it would be about 8 cups. And if you left room for milk, because this is all without milk, you know, once you add milk, you're going to have more in there.
5 guesses at my house who that was.
7. All right, so let's do some math again. So let's say we're dealing with 7 cups right here, okay? So 110 turns to?
770.
That's your calories. And you've got 125 on the sodium, turns to?
A lot.
950. Okay, then your carbs, 24 grams, turns into? Multiply that by 7. Any mathematicians in here? That's a lot. That's a lot.
I can't do this.
Remember 12 of those was, huh?
171.
171? Okay. Yeah, and then 12 of those was the sugar, so divide that in half.
Are
Okay.
you saying like the carbs and then it has the sugars, that's part of the carbs?
Yes.
Okay.
So when you look at your label, the darker ones on your label, all right, so
Yeah,
your dark ones are like total fat, cholesterol, sodium, potassium, carbs, all right, and then underneath that there's little line items, all right. So one of the line items under carbs is sugar, all right. So sugar is going to be part of that total number for carbohydrates, but so is fiber. So fibers are good for you and sugars are bad for you, and both of those are line items under carbohydrates. So not all carbs are bad, we just need to watch that. And if you're diabetic, you're basically going to subtract your carbs from your total subtract your fiber from your total carbs. Basically how that works. Okay, so you kind of get an idea where I'm going with this portion size thing? Okay, anybody in here drink coffee and like creamer? Okay, we got a few people down here. Excuse me, I'm gonna head this way. Okay, would you be my volunteer for this? Would you pretend that's a coffee cup and put some creamer in there, about as much as you normally would?
Should write a coffee cup in here.
You really want me to do this?
Yes,
Okay.
and I'm not gonna be able to give you exact numbers on this, so. Well, that's not too bad. It's more. It's more for you? No, for her. Oh. Okay. She's being modest.
Is that a smaller glass than what she uses?
Okay. I told you, I'm not gonna be able to give you exact numbers on this, but the serving size of this is 1 teaspoon. So, how many teaspoons would you guess is here?
That's 5.
Yeah, 4 to 5 maybe.
I'd say
I'd
about
say
7.
I'd say about 10.
Yeah, easily.
I don't know how much I put in there because I put it in after the coffee, so.
Okay, so with creamer, you're not gonna have any sugars or anything, and a lot of you may add sugar in addition to that. But what you're dealing with is calories and fat. So per 1 teaspoon of this stuff is 10 calories. All right, so if you have 10 in there already, you know.
Problem I can't lose weight.
Huh?
Problem I can't lose weight.
That might be part of it. So your total fat then is only 0.5 grams, but remember, that's only per teaspoon. So once you add 10 of those, that's going to add up quite a bit. So even though it doesn't seem like a lot right here, once you put this much in, then you're really, increasing your numbers quite a bit pretty quickly. And like I said, many of you probably don't see it go in there because this is a nice clear cup and there's no coffee in it. So maybe you don't know how much you're adding, or maybe you add your sugar on top of that. So really, you're probably just, drinking candied coffee. Yeah, or maybe just sugar with coffee flavor, that kind of thing. Okay, so with that in mind, I want to play a little guessing game with you, okay? So these are our different portion sizes that we are dealing with, and I want you to guess which one is the proper portion size. What's your guess?
The small one.
Small one.
Middle.
The tall.
Okay.
Classic.
If you are 1 or 2 years old, this is the proper portion size. This is 4 ounces. So this is fine for your babies.
My grandmother used to give me, even as an adult, she would pour her juice in glasses that small.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, these are kind of breakfast juice size glasses. And if you drink this, that's fine, because juice is mostly
Well, I
just sugar
always have to
anyway.
fill it up
I
2
don't
or
love
3
it.
times.
Oh,
you
well.
know.
Then you're just upgrading this much.
She always had these little juice glasses. She always used those at breakfast.
Yeah, they do a lot of times. And yeah, you're still thirsty when you get done with those. But really, if we did it properly and we had only one of these and then we had some water with it, or milk or something, that'd be perfect. All right, between these two, this one is 8 ounces and this one is 12. So the 8 ounces is correct for anyone 3 years old and up is 8 ounces. 12 ounces is too much. And a few things I want to say about that. First of all, the difference in sizes, not too many people drink out of a glass like this, but the idea is to show you that our eyes trick us, right? So it was kind of hard to tell that that was 8 ounces in that glass, but that is the proper amount. A couple of things on juice. So for starters, as I mentioned, juice is mostly sugar, although your orange juice, apple juice, some of your others have 100% vitamin C for the day. That's the total amount you need for the day, all in 8 ounces. So you don't need to take another vitamin C pill. You don't need to have more juice than this, because that would be too much vitamin C, and after a while, and it would have to be in larger quantities, but you can get too much vitamin C actually. Okay, better yet, because juice does count as one of your fruit servings. Remember I said only about 1.5 to 2 servings of fruit a day. It's better to actually get a fruit because you're going to get fiber in it, where you don't get a whole lot of fiber with your juice. Only prune juice, and if you get, what's it called with the little pieces in there? Pulp. Thank you. Pulp in your orange juice. All right, nuts. What's the proper serving of nuts?
Small.
The small one, that's right. So this is 1.5 tablespoons, which is a little confusing because if you're getting peanut butter, it's actually 2 tablespoons. But about 1.5 to 2 tablespoons is going to be a proper serving size, okay? So if you like to have this much on your nuts, which is easy to do pretty quickly, that's a 1/2 cup, which is 424 calories. So while nuts are good for you, first of all, a lot of times they have a lot of salt on them, so we need to watch that. And secondly, they do come with an awful lot of calories. So just make sure, have your healthy snack, but not a whole lot of it. Okay, on to the next one. We got pasta. This is one of those things that's really easy to mess up on. Okay, because it doesn't look like a lot at first, all right? So we start piling it on. Does that look like about what you have?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, and then we put our sauce on, and we got a nice big plate full there, right? But I'm gonna have you guess which one is the proper portion size. What's your guess?
The one on the left.
I use the middle one.
The middle one.
Okay, this is 1 cup. The middle one is correct. It is a 1/2 cup. Okay? So, this is gonna amaze you. Remember, if you're a gentleman, you would have, be allowed to have more grains. So, you might have, your 1 cup or whatever. But for folks about my size, about a 1/2 cup's gonna do it, okay? And does that look like quite a bit when I put it in the middle of my plate?
You tame your plate.
But then you put your sauce on, you got a plate full. Sprinkle a little bit of cheese on there, you're doing good. And so we'll talk here in a little bit about some ways that we can make, tricks that we can do to make sure our portion sizes are smaller, besides knowing what a portion size should look like, which is what we're doing now. All right, what's your guess on meat? There's supposed to be some meat here. The one in here, right here. Yes, this is 3 ounces. That is a proper portion size of meat. This one is 4.5. If you ate 4.5, it probably wouldn't be the end of the world, but if you ate 6, that's too much. You know, one of the biggest issues with meat is that a lot of times it's pretty fatty unless you get nice lean meat. So that's just something to remember. It comes with a lot of calories and fat a lot of times. Okay, so let's look at what a portion size should be. So for those who are familiar with CD cases, I'm afraid our younger generation is not, but I think most of us here are. This is about the size of a portion of grain. So if you think about a piece of bread, okay, and you put maybe 2 pieces of bread on a sandwich, so that's 2 of your 6 to 8 for the day real quick. Plus maybe you had 2 or 4 for breakfast. So it adds up really quickly.
Just get rid of the bread.
What's that?
Just get rid of the bread.
Oh, well, you could do that. Then you wouldn't have to deal with those carbs. That's true. So most people who say they're on a low-carb diet, they're actually eating the proper amount of carbs a day. All right?
When I get fast food, I just get rid of the bread.
You can do that. All right, a baseball would be about the size of your vegetables, serving of vegetables. Okay, so let's see, that is, this is your fruits. All right there. It's gonna be, if you think about like a cutie or a halo or a small apple, so those great big ones that you get, you know, they're trying to make them bigger and bigger all the time, it seems like. That's like 3 servings or something right there. So you don't really need to eat that much, or if you do, just remember you've had enough fruit for the day. All right, a deck of cards is about the size of your protein, okay? And then if you like some cheese, this is about a serving of cheese.
Oh, my goodness.
We all love cheese.
That should never happen.
Okay.
We go back to only mozzarella, and that's as far as I'm going.
All right, now this little coin, all right, before you cook your pasta, so let's take spaghetti. All right, that works the best with this. So your long, straight noodles, if you could put them within this little nickel here, then that would be your proper portion before you cook it. So that kind of gives you an idea. All right.
Sound crazy?
But
You know those scoops for the pasta? The little circle they have in the middle of them?
yeah,
I might have said this last year, but
That's
anyway, if you like fit your noodles down in that, that's supposed to be a portion or serving size.
No, you did not say that last year, because
Yeah.
I've often wondered why there was a hole. So
Now
there
you
you
know.
go.
yeah, it's pretty cool. Pull that too.
Yeah. that's
Double purpose.
Where's that whole at?
Right in the center of those, the pasta, what do you call it? The pasta scoops?
I call it a pasta spoon.
Yeah. You know,
It
they
has
have
the little
fingers
fingers on them.
It's got the hole in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I brought some stomachs. All right. So this is supposed to be like a youth stomach. I think probably like a elementary age or preschool size. And then this is supposed to be an adult stomach, but I'm pretty sure this is a little bigger than mine is. So that kind of give you an idea. So let's use the adult size stomach. All right, and let's eat a meal. So we eat our vegetables, and we eat our fruit, and we're gonna eat our protein. All right, all proper serving sizes, and then our grains. Are we full?
Should be.
Should be. All right. I think that's a really good visual to, you know, just help you realize that you're only filling up about that much space anyways. So you really don't need great big portions. And if you're a kiddo, well, you burn it off a lot quicker, but kind of gives you an idea there too. Okay.
That makes you wonder how like the stomach expands and stuff.
Yes,
How
it
much
does.
could expand.
Yes, so that brings us to our next thing, which is going to be proper portion sizes for the different ages. And I just want to show you different examples here. Okay, and I didn't pull them all out of their bags, but hopefully you can kind of see them. This is for ages 4 to 10. And this might blow your mind, but the same portions for 4 to 10 is almost basically what we should be eating our entire lives, because they burn it so much more quickly than we do. All right, so 1 egg is a portion. That's a portion of protein. All right, so we've got 3/4 cup of corn flakes right there. All right, raisins. One of the small boxes of raisins, not even the bigger one like this, but the little small one, that is 1 serving. And if y'all look at those, the amount of sugar will blow you away.
Yeah,
And
I
there's
just
nothing
learned that.
in raisins but natural stuff, right? Not always the case with your other dried fruits, so watch that, all right? Serving of beans, got 1 orange. All right, our spaghetti with our sauce on it, so that's 1/2 cup. Same for us, right? Now, this says 2 cheese sticks, but I think that's an awful lot. I really think 1 cheese stick is probably a portion size, personally. All right, anybody eat hot dogs? How many do y'all have? How many of your kids have it?
One. Yeah, Joey usually will eat one.
Okay, 1 hot dog, yeah, no need to have 2. And you can have the bun with that if you want to. Yeah, sorry. So there's your 1 bun to go with your 1 hot dog.
Oh, see, he doesn't even eat the bun with it.
What if you just
That's
got the bun? You just eat the meat, is 2 okay without the bun?
Well, you have to realize the sodium content in a hot dog. It is through the roof, and also the fat content in a hot dog. So it is definitely recommended only 1 hot dog.
What if it's a turkey dog?
What?
I buy turkey dog.
Yeah, they have the new chicken ones that are out. Are
Okay,
those
so-
healthier?
Turkey or chicken hot dogs are going to be lower in fat, so that's good. But for the most part, the processing is the same. They're still highly processed foods, so your
Yeah.
sodium content probably may be a little reduced, but it's still going to be up there. So you still want to limit how often you eat those and how much of them you eat. All right, we've got 1 ounce sticks, fish sticks. If anybody wants those. All right. Fish is good for you, but these are highly processed like everything else. So also very high in sodium. And you'll notice that many of the things we feed our little ones are that way. All right, so 8 ounces of milk, same as for us. 1 scoop of ice cream. All right, we get to do 2 scoops. Woo-hoo. Yeah. And then this is 6 strawberries. Those are very small strawberries though.
I think those raspberries.
And do you think they're raspberries? It says strawberries on it, but it doesn't matter either way, it'd be about 6. And then this is a 2-inch square brownie. Yeah, how tiny that brownie is. That's 1 serving for us as well. All right, I have 2 more things in here. 6 saltine crackers, and then we've got a 1/2 cup of green beans. So remember, your cooked vegetables are about a 1/2 cup. Okay, so that kind of hopefully gives you an idea. Remember, that's for kids 4 to 10, but still basically about the same for us, really. Okay, so if anybody has kids younger than that, I've got some to show you from this as well. How many of y'all have 1 to 3-year-olds? Okay, so we'll just run through this real quick. So this is 1 ounce of sliced chicken. Okay, so these are definitely smaller. We've got 1 ounce of bologna, 4 ounces of milk. This is your graham crackers, 3 of these little halves. All right, so kind of gives you an idea there. 1/4 a cup of peas. All right, why a 1/4 a cup? So that's like exactly half of the the serving for everybody else, okay? Does that make sense?
Well, good luck getting them to eat them.
Well, that's, every kid's different. My son
I'm
loves
just
peas,
kidding.
my daughter won't eat peas.
That's
You
how
just- you never know.
mine is too.
I keep serving her peas, but, she spits them everywhere, but whatever. 1 celery stick, a 1/3 cup of rice. We've got a little 1/3 cup of a yam right there. So, yeah, that's not much. And even for us, it's not really a whole lot more than that actually because it's so high in starch. All right, so we've got animal crackers, 8. Juice is the same, 4 ounces. 1 small thing of applesauce. And your peanut butter is only 1 tablespoon.
No.
But y'all kind of get the idea behind those. And if you want to come look at the rest of them, you're welcome to. But that's basically the difference in your portion sizes per age. So I have a question. People tend to eat less after usually around age 60, 70 years old. Do portion sizes change for that age? What do you think?
I would think they would go
They
up
actually
maybe.
don't. The same amount is recommended even for those age groups. Part of it is that a lot of times they're not getting as much physical activity, so they're not burning as much. So then you wouldn't want to take in as much if you're not burning that. So you know your own body the best. You know what you need or don't need that way. Okay, just make sure you are getting enough energy into your body and make sure that when you make those choices that they are healthy ones, that you're getting enough bang for your buck, as I put it, enough nutrients for the amount of calories that you're putting in. All right, I have some volunteers over here. Did y'all know you were volunteering? I would love for you to take your plates right there, and I've got some foods right in front of you. If you don't mind, to build a meal. Okay, so you can take them out of the bag and put them on your plate. And, I'm gonna let you do that while we're analyzing some labels. Okay, so the rest of us are gonna analyze some labels here. I'm sorry, this might actually make you hungry. There you go.
Not that easy.
Are we a picky?
Yes, we are.
So here's examples of all the stuff she was talking about.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes, she announced it before you guys got here.
I go with the chicken, it's healthier for you. I got peas.
She grabbed my cupcake the other day, I brought the cupcake barbecue.
Anything that you
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can't appetite egg gravy.
Well, what I do is I count my potato as my grain. Oh, you wouldn't want to do that all the time, but especially if you know that you have already eaten too many grams a day, that's a okay way to do it. You get your vegetables. It's hard to get vegetables during the day, so sometimes it's easier to do it at dinner. So,
Lettuce and onions
and
on a
also,
burger.
if you're a diabetic, that's a great way to do it too.
Thank God I've never done that. I
All
have
right.
lots of diabetes in my family though. My grandmother, my cousin, grandpa, but
Definitely a possibility for you.
I've never been on sweets and stuff. I guess that's why I've never done it.
All right, they've got their meals built, so let's go ahead and look at that. Can I get y'all's attention back up here? Sure. All right, thank you. Okay, so they have built a meal, each of them. Can you tell us what you put on your plate and why you chose that?
I have a tossed salad, an orange, macaroni and cheese, and chicken. This is usually what I would eat because I'm pretty picky about what I eat. The chicken, I chose it because it's grilled and it's healthier for you. You can also bake it and it's even healthier.
Some of it. Depends on what
And
you
this-
want it.
Yeah, yeah. The salad's healthy for you, and it has no calories, right? Salad, when you eat
Very
lettuce.
little.
Yeah.
Very little. Very healthy.
Green leaf
yes.
lettuce has 5 calories per serving and spinach has 25, so it depends on
Yeah.
which you pick.
It does.
The only way you're gonna get a lot of calories with this is if you put dressing in it.
So I brought you some dressing.
I don't want it.
A serving of dressing is 1 tablespoon.
Oh,
1
well.
tablespoon. So do you not use any dressing?
We better put it this size, well, we better put like 3 of those on there.
Okay. So that's gonna increase your calories quite a bit right there.
Yeah.
You can also put yogurt or like plain yogurt or applesauce on your salad too.
That's a good idea.
I once went to a dietary center and they said instead of putting it on your salad, you put it in a little side glass, your tablespoon, and then you can dip. So you get a little bit of it on each little piece,
Yeah.
but you're still staying within your serving size.
There's an idea for you. Okay.
Still not enough.
All right, can you tell us about the plate you built?
Mine is fried chicken leg, green beans, baked potato, and a peach. And I chose this because this is something that I would make at home.
Okay. Now, did y'all hear us talking about the potato? She's used it in place of a grain, which if you're a diabetic, that's a great idea. And the other thing we talked about was sometimes we get lots of grains during the day, but not a lot of vegetables. So a good way to make up for that at dinner time is to use like a starchy vegetable in place of a grain. But you do kind of want to track throughout the day what you've had and know what you need. And you don't have a dairy, so I want to add a yogurt right there.
You didn't get dairy.
No dairy for me.
Macaroni and cheese, that's dairy too.
That's about all the milk and butter I'm getting.
Okay, those look good. But if y'all look at their plates, it kind of gives you an idea. Once you add all those smaller portions onto your plate, it fills it up pretty well. And you can also see what the portion sizes look like. So you don't need a whole big heap of green beans. You know, just a little half a cup is enough. So I wanted you to see that as well. Okay, let's do a little bit of label reading. So if y'all want to look at your labels, okay, the first thing you always want to look at, like I said, is your serving size, which in your case is going to be 1 of these, right? And then your servings per container. And that's going to let you know if you're getting a good bang for your buck, if you will. If you were to buy this all by itself, it might cost close to $1, right?
Yeah.
So if you ate 2 of them, and you're already adding up quite a bit right there look at the nutrients you're getting out of it down at the bottom. Hardly anything out of that, okay? But what we do want to look at are our calories, right? So this has 150 calories in this one little bag. And if we ate twice that size, that adds up really, really fast. All right, 7 grams of fat for me here in this bag, and 200 milligrams of sodium. That's like, yeah, really high. All right, and remember, this is just one little bag. If you're eating this out of a box or something and you're not measuring out what you're eating, chances are you're probably eating more than that. Okay, all right. So y'all look at your labels and tell me what you find amazing, or if you added that up, how many you would eat and what you would be getting out of that.
I would be eating 2, and I can't read because I'm lacking.
Okay, you would be eating 2. Does anybody else have one of these little granola bars? All right, can you help her out?
Well, I can't read.
It does say, I can see serving size 1 bar with 24 grams.
90
Calories are 90.
There's 130 in the cereal bar.
130 in the cereal bar.
Yeah.
Wow.
Strawberry fruit.
Yeah, with like 12 grams of sugar.
A lot of people would eat 2 of those.
No wonder my mom sugared up.
I ate 2.
She can eat a box of those a day.
So I did this exercise with my husband when we went to the store, and I was letting him kind of pick things out that he liked, but I wanted to show him the sodium content and everything as you're building like a meal. And by the time he was done with his salad, he had over 1,000 milligrams of sodium for his salad. So don't just look at individual things, you got to do the math along with it, because each item has its own little addition to it.
That's a great point.
So,
All right, I brought a few other examples. So, anybody like candy? I got a little bit of candy here. So, if y'all bought one of these are just those little mini Reese's. Would you eat the whole package at once?
of course.
Because there's 2.5 servings in the container. And 1 serving is only 3 of those little cups. Okay, that's 1 serving. So it does give you per serving and then per container, just in case you ate the whole container. So in a serving, there's 130 calories, so 350 for the whole container. 7 grams of fat in a serving, or 19 in the whole thing. 60 milligrams of sodium, or 170 milligrams. 16 grams of carbs, or 43 grams of carbs, which would shoot your sugar way up there, because naturally this is candy. So 39 of those are from sugar alone. All right, so just to give you an idea what candy looks like when you eat that. Does anybody like chips? 1 little bag of chips here has 10 grams of fat to start out with, right there. 135 milligrams of sodium in this. So imagine if you doubled that, if you had a bigger bag and you weren't watching your portion sizes. 160 calories in this small bag. Okay, and then 15 carbs. And the only thing it has in here that's really good for you is it does have 6% of your daily value of potassium. So a little tiny bit of something in there. Everything else is a bunch of zeros. All right, we looked at cereal bars. This is one of the crunchier ones, and I'm going to say this is one of the healthier ones, these little crunchy ones. So you get to eat 2 bars in this.
Is that the oats and honey one?
Yes.
Okay.
That's 190 calories. Okay. We're looking at 29 grams of carbohydrates in this 1 package. 170 milligrams of sodium. All right, so kind of gives you an idea there. Crackers. Anybody think these are healthy little crackers? Peanut butter crackers. Okay, so here are our peanut butter crackers. We've got 330 milligrams of sodium to start out with. All right, 9 grams of fat right there, 4 grams of sugar. And does anyone think these are high in protein because they have peanut butter? Well,
They should be, but they're not really.
4 grams is all. So my sister eats these all the time because she's hypoglycemic.
My daughter.
And I tell her all the time, there's hardly any protein in those, but okay. Yeah, so
You just
not a lot.
have, yeah, you have to make sure the protein is more than the sugar
Yeah,
intake.
and that's hard to do. And
Yeah.
in that case, it's sodium too. All right, I want to really quick talk about some beverages here. So we've got juice and milk, chocolate milk. All right, and look how small these containers are. All right. So this is something kids might drink quite a bit. This is the proper thing to buy if you're going to be buying juice. So it's 100% juice. It clearly says right there 100%. And you do have to watch that because one time I picked up something and it was 100% fun. So that wasn't what I wanted. I put that one back. But they outgot me. So you want it to be 100% juice. And it doesn't mean it's 100% of the flavor of the juice that's on there. It just means it's 100% juice. And a lot of it may be apple juice or something like that. Yes, and grape juice is actually grape juice, but that's not always the case. So, in this 1 small container of the proper type of juice, there is 5.5 fluid ounces here. So 100 calories right off the bat there, 10 milligrams of sodium, natural, 25 grams of sugar, which is pretty much all your carbs, 1 additional gram there for your total carbs. But you do have some nutrients, which is why it's better than if you buy the other beverages that are mostly high fructose corn syrup. So is one of them, but there's other brands as well that have containers out that look exactly the same, right? So this has a bottle, and there's a bottle of the other kind. So 100% juice looks almost exactly the same as the high fructose corn syrup stuff. So watch out for those. All right, let's do milk. So if you're gonna do chocolate milk, this is the right stuff. This is real milk, unlike Yoo-Hoo or some of those other brands.
Chocolate flavored cream.
Chocolate flavored drinks, yes, that there's very little actual milk in. So this is milk. But once you add the chocolate to it, it gets pretty crazy. So we're looking at 210 calories right here, 5 grams of fat, 110 milligrams of sodium, and 30 grams of sugar in this one little deal. So if you've got a kiddo that drinks this all day long, or somebody that does, it's a lot to be taken in for sure.
So now they have the protein milks. Are those healthy if for someone who has a hard time getting protein?
Protein milk she's asking about for people who are having a hard time getting enough protein. So I'm not exactly sure which protein milks you're talking about, so I'm a little worried to
No, not the booster and yes, the muscle milks. Yeah.
Oh, like the muscle milks.
Yeah.
I think there's only so much protein your body can handle at a time, and a lot of those have like 30 to 30, like
So way
35.
over.
Yeah, and so you flush a lot of it out. What is it, like 19 grams? Or I think it's actually
Not
extra.
sure.
Like after that, your body does not absorb it.
Oh,
It just flushes.
Just from a beverage. And I haven't analyzed one of those before, but I'm guessing it's probably pretty high in sodium and sugar.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say that's a downfall of that. Now, if you just drink plain regular milk, it has complete protein in it. And if you look at your whey products, again, you have to watch for added sugar and sodium, but you may, check into whey products.
Okay.
And look at it that way, if you have trouble with that. Also, Greek yogurt is an awesome way to get more protein if you're looking for that.
I just use regular milk and then put just enough chocolate in it to turn it colors, and my kids think that it's chocolate milk.
Oh, that's great.
It's like just a small.
I tried that and my kids like, this is gross.
This tastes funny. Yeah, that's what I get.
Okay, so one last activity I'd like for y'all to do. This will be our final thing, and then we'll wrap it up, and y'all can partner up on this or whatever.
Oh, I'm just on point, you don't even need to give it to me.
Well, not really about the ad, it's more about the price.
She's not daddy's girl at all.
Yeah, we live right by that, we don't even shop there.
Don't worry, I'm not filming her.
Alright, so what I want you to do is start building a meal, alright? So build yourself a dinner, write down, write down what you would make for your family and the price that goes with it. And I want you to figure out the difference between and I want you to do either something big that you can have leftovers of, or something quick fix, so we can compare those prices, all right?
So write it on the back of these little things or something?
No, because those are coming back to me.
Write it on the ad if you want. Doesn't matter.
Oh,
if you
write it on the ad, or
That's fine. You can circle.
that way you can take it home with you.
You can whatever. I don't need the ads back.
Throw some ingredients.
And figure out your total cost, and then figure out if you ate the proper serving and held the rest over for the next day or the next 2 days, how much money you would save versus making that several times, right? So if you made a meal that cost $8 for your family of 4, and you had to make something like that every day of the week, 7 days a week, that's going to add up really quick. But if you made the proper portion size, then it's going
gonna last you longer and you're not gonna
That
spend
is
it.
nice. So that's what we're looking at. Everybody 3 pounds.
I don't like this bed.
Fried potatoes or baked potatoes? We do baked potatoes, so we don't have to do it.
You'll enjoy it. Usually it's
Watermelon pizza.
What place has spaghetti sauce on Zell and not spaghetti? Come on. You know, different kind of spaghetti sauce in here, but no spaghetti.
You don't have to use this in that ad if you know about how much it costs. I'm just providing the ad in case you don't know the cost.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, we can just go off what we use.
So in that case, I can use this.
So what's your protein?
And spaghetti that costs
We're gonna bake
about.
potatoes or do bacon?
I'm gonna say no, give me this, because I'm not even sure how much it is. $2.50 right there, and my daughter will eat like crazy on that for days.
And sour cream is about what, like $2.49? And they can make one sandwich and a nut.
Bethany? Bethany? It's 6:30.
Is 80 cups of cereal.
So what do you have for dinner? Spaghetti. Oh, I guess I need to add one of that. Bread on there, you're right, it does. That's usually what I buy. I buy this and it makes like 2 dinners.
The two, the rest, and two baked quarters.